Good afternoon. How you doing, Terry?
I'm peaceful, my brother, and yourself.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Truly,
To,
true.
to, to all the viewers out there, we would like to welcome you guys. Give a few seconds for some people to log on.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother Terry, you ready to get started?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How y'all doing? My name is Dr. Kevin Dolphin, and my counterpart is
Terry Burnside. Good afternoon, all.
yes, sir. All right, but before we get started, I want to tell you who we are. Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice is a national network of crime survivors joining together to create healing communities and shape public policy. We are a flagship project of the Alliance for Safety and Justice. With over 40,000 members and rising nationally, Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice is building a movement to heal together and promote policies that help the people and communities most harmed by crime and violence. Now, as we jump into this is a blessed day, and as we jump into these much needed topics, again, we want to welcome you guys and just thank you for joining us. So again, like I said, my name is Dr. Kevin Dolphin, and I am the chapter leader of Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice for Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And how I got into this work is I also have a nonprofit organization called Breaking the Chains. And I was introduced to Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice by Miss Lisa Berhanen, who was my co-chapter leader. May she rest in peace.
Yes.
With one day she had came to me and she had told me that there was this organization called Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice, and she felt that I would be a good fit to help her build, the chapter in Harrisburg, because they really needed a chapter in Pennsylvania. So after going back and doing my studies, I did some intense studies about what I would may be getting myself into. So it took me back to I had just recently did 15 years in federal prison, and like 2011 or 12, somewhere around there, I was in the TV room and we were watching the news. We were watching CNN, and we were looking at how the overcrowdedness of the Bureau of Prisons, how nationally. So what they were focusing on was California. And how all the overcrowdedness was, and how inmates were dying daily and things like that. So this organization called Alliance for Safety and Justice was fighting to change laws and free a lot of these individuals and change certain laws. So they were successful at doing it. So when Lisa had introduced me, Crime Survivors, Safety and Justice to me, and I went and did my homework and found out that Crime Survivors, Safety and Justice was, alongside with Alliance for Safety and Justice, I didn't have to think about it anymore, because I knew that this organization was about action. Yes. And that's what I'm about. I'm about action. So, I joined a couple years ago, and it's just a blessing, man, to have been able to learn the things that I've learned from Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice, to be able to network with other people, and to also be able to help others heal nationally around the world. So that's how I got involved in this work, man. Alliance for Safety and Justice, Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice are both great organizations. Thank you, Terry. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. But thank you, my brother. That's Dr. Dolphin. Again, my name is Terry Burnside. How I got involved with CSSJ and ASJ was through a mutual friend, which was our state representative, Ms. Jahan Gordon Booth. She saw how things were going in our area, and she saw some of my passion and some of the leadership in the area where I am, and seeing that it wasn't really best represented. So I kind of stepped out of the light of certain organizations, different entities. And when I did, she approached me and said, Mr. Burnside, I know a great organization or a great group you should become a part of that's beneficial to the community, pretty much aligned with the work that you're already doing. And so with that being said, you know, Jahan Gordon Booth introduced me to the organization. A couple of days later, I was contacted by Mr. Aswad Thomas, which is the managing director for Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice, who said that I came highly recommended. We connect the dots, we met, we talked with one another. 2.5 years later, here I am on the front lines for CSSJ.
Great. You're doing great work as well. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
All right, so this topic that we're getting ready to touch on is also a touchy one, and it's sensitive. And for those of you that that are joining in, that are tuning in, also we would like you to pay attention. And if there is any time that you would like to comment or ask a question, please do. So this is the topic. The uprising and COVID together are exposing the failures of the criminal justice system. How can we move forward? Well, among police brutality and the onslaught, the rise of violence, the crime, and you also the domestic violence, it is sometimes it becomes baffling to me, because I don't understand how people sometimes they can't see what we're dealing with, and then it spills over into the community, and then there's a lot of violence. But I also understand this, that many of the people feel caged in, and sometimes when they feel caged in and don't know how to deal with it, they react in harmful ways. So, doing my studies and understanding certain different things, it's essential that we get, those victims of crimes and those perpetrators the help, the necessary, treatment that they need. And that's what we do here at Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. And while we're talking about dealing with this out in our communities, we also address things going on behind the wall in the prisons, because this is a very touchy topic right now, because we understand that maybe some of you who are viewing, or you may have someone that is related to you in prison, or know someone that's in prison, or may have been in prison yourself. But the conditions inside are oftentimes, from the emails and phone calls that I get from some of the individuals, are horrifying.
Sure.
I also, before COVID began, we go into the prisons and we teach cognitive development programs, and we help individuals come back out into society and become successful. But when we receive a lot of these emails and phone calls, a lot of the individuals talk about how they're afraid for their lives, how they are afraid to eat the food, for fear of, they don't know if they'll catch COVID from someone that has served the food, or something that may be in the food. It's a sad situation. And they also talk about how they're locked down. So for several months now, they've been in a lot of the prisons, they've been locked down for 23 hours, and they get out an hour for a day. And that right there is traumatizing to the mind. I've been in prison, so I can understand what these men and women may be going through on a day-to-day basis. And they, with this COVID and with the lockdown, they are prevented treatment in a lot of aspects. So they need to be able to have people to come in and talk to them, or have some type of system set up so that they can talk to them in order for them to be able to help them heal and move forward. Terry, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yes, sir. Real simple. And we just dealing with the uprisings and the COVID together are a compounded dosage of chaos and carnage in the same light. And that's crippling and destructive to our community. So combating those two running together is real tough. It's real chaotic right now and destructive. And it's not really beneficial to us right now. So both of the forces are destructive, and most of the havoc is in the Afro-American community. So the only way we can move forward is once we unite collectively as a whole. Dealing with some of the issues in regards to the prison and around those systems is how brothers are in there. You have undiagnosed trauma. A lot of them are dealing with a lot of situations and they're not getting any assistance or any help. So then when they release back out to society, they have issues that weren't even tapped into or even they had an opportunity to deal with. So you releasing the same person back out here in the community that had a problem before he went in, that didn't get any help for it. So now you release back into society, we have another problem as well. So that situation has not been rectified or even trying to be challenged. So that's disheartening as well.
Yes. Thank you, Terry. So as we think about these things and think about different solutions and strategies, because that's what we're about here at Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice, is coming up with solutions and strategies, not just talking about the problem. We're talking about action, because as you know, our members know, and we want the people out there to know, that you heal through action. That's what we do here at Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. We heal through action. So what I want to do is share a little bit with you guys. And Terry, I'm going to need your assistance on this. I may have asked you a question or two. And for those of you who are logged in, if you want to answer the questions as well, that'll be great. But I'm going to share something with you about healing and moving forward. That's a part of a curriculum that we use sometimes at Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. Healing is a lifelong journey. Yes. It consists of endless self-exploration. The depths of personal insight go far beyond what the naked eye can see. The experiences, the joys and pains that create and give new memories to life are never ending. The highs, the lows, the mountains, the valleys, all play a part in self-exploration, healing, and moving forward. The connection between inner and outer is linked together in a chain of inseparable emotional and physical centeredness. Healing is a process of releasing the event's imprint in the nervous system, relearning how to feel at ease mentally, spiritually, and emotionally is a part of the process. Healing and moving forward helps you regain your sense of safety as you begin to shift paradigms. Shifting paradigms can and does allow you to rid yourself of old scars while filtering through your emotions. Learning to deal with your emotions one by one is a great way to feel. The inability to control how you feel can keep you in a tailspin. With the fluctuation of your emotions, you will experience and meet changes which range from happiness to sadness, hope to hopelessness, strength to weakness, brave to fearlessness, and so on. So as you think about some of this information I just shared, Terry, I want to ask you this question, and I'm posing it to those who are out there that's logged on as well. Do you think self-exploration helps in the healing process and moving forward? If so, If so, because it's a two-part question. If so, can you explain how and why you feel that way?
Thank you, my brother. Most definitely, I think self-exploration is huge, simply because in order to be able to address a situation, one must know and I be able to identify with self. That's why it's so huge with self-exploration. Get to know you. How can you share something with somebody else when when you're not on point, or when you have a struggles or something that you haven't dealt with? So that's why it's so huge and important with the self-exploration piece, because you have to know thyself.
Yes, great answer. And when we were thinking about this and coming up with this, in order to get to the root or to solve this problem, any problem that it may be, you have to go to the root of that problem. Just like you said, Terry, you have to know. You have to understand that problem and first know that there is a problem, and then explore yourself truthfully and honestly so that we can grow and get beyond that. So while on your journey to healing and moving forward, it is very important for you to set small goals for yourself. The accomplishing of those goals assist you in moving forward. While it may not be easy to replace traumatic events that can plague your thoughts, there are positive forms of things that you can do, although darkness and gloom sometimes shows up and camps out on your doorstep. Through traumatic experiences, many individuals have found their purpose in life. I'm going to read that part again. Through traumatic experiences, many individuals have found their purpose in life.
Sure.
Sharing their stories, along with taking action and educating others, repairs their damaged inner being, helps evaluate their self-esteem, and provides them with a sense of self-worth. Their unique stories provide self-empowerment for themselves and others. Now, I don't know how many of you that's viewing may agree with that. We all have different views. But Terry, I'm going to ask you, how does sharing your story with others make you feel?
Well, it's a great, in my opinion, it's like a pressure relief valve. Be able to share some of my thoughts and some of my experiences around what I've experienced. It gives me great pleasure in just being able to be open minded about certain situations, to share my ideas, share some of my experiences with someone else in hopes of trying to help them. So it's just so crucial uh, when you're able to share. And that's what I like about the CSSJ circle. Even being in that, in those demographics is so huge, because you're able to share your experiences without being judged. People are there like you and look like you and have experienced some of the same things. So it's huge, and it's awesome to be able to sit down with someone and be able for them to understand and relate to what you're going through, because they have some of the similar experiences.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I love that. And I really hope someone, out there got something from what you're saying, because those were some powerful words. And it also gave them a little bit more insight about what crime survivors for safety and justice is. Because as you know, you're out in Illinois, I'm in Pennsylvania. We have people in California, Houston, uh, Florida, all over, Ohio. We're a family. So, being able to come together, join together, and tell our stories without being judged, it brings us closer together and allows us to be a family, because that's what CSSJ is, a family. So,
Yes.
Terry, I wanna say something. I wanna ask you this: how do you prioritize your own healing in this moment right now?
I mean, it's real simple. We are no good for anyone if we aren't together. So we have to prioritize our own healing in order to be able to assist or help someone else. The healing begins and ends with self.
Yes, healing begins and ends with self. So I want to share something with you guys. As of August 6th, 2020 today, the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in more than 4 million cases and more than 150,000 deaths in the US. Also, African Americans' mortality are 2.4 times as high as whites who live in upper economic communities. Now, health disparities exist and need to be rectified in American society. Healthcare needs must be met without the raging disparity that leads to poor health outcomes, human suffering, and a drain on the economy. So, why the rapid demographics of changes currently take place in the United States and add a sense of urgency to the need for the health status gap to be closed, and that diversity is an essential process. Research clearly shows and indicates that racial/ethnic diversity in the delivery of healthcare improves outcomes for emerging majority populations. The discussion of diversity will be contrasted with the concept of cultural competence, and will demonstrate that although distinctly different, the two elements are linked together in an effort made toward the ultimate goal of closing the health status gap in the United States. As you know, Terry, and many of us out there know that African American community and other minority communities are really being faced on a higher scale with this COVID thing right now. And we can, I mean, you know, I don't like to get into the color barrier thing or whatever, but we as you know, African Americans and other ethnicities, we have to educate ourselves on what's going on. And once we have the opportunity to educate ourselves, we can empower one another. And then it's like me, I can no longer blame anyone else for the situation that I may find myself in, because I am an educated man and I have the opportunity to take the advantage of anything that it is to learn with these phones, with technology that's going on now. We can learn and reach people anywhere across the world. So with the things that's going on now, us as a people and you know, other ethnicities, we have to take this time to educate ourselves on certain matters, especially with this COVID and things like that. Do you have anything else you want to add to that, Terry?
I mean, pretty much I echo the same sentiments as you, my brother. I mean, your own point is real simple. Education is key. Knowledge is power. We have to educate one another, and that's all about sharing, and that's how we're going to learn.
Yes, thank you. Okay, now with the shared, and this is what I need you, if you could really help me with this, and others out there, do you have any shared safety solutions for our listeners out there?
Yes, sir. A lot of the shared safety solutions that I like to refer to is like, it begins with like organization strategies by building shared principles. Organization strategy, I'm reminded of the thing called 3 C's, something I learned with CSSJ while being a part of SSJ as well. How I was dealing with the 3 C's: champions, campaigns, and constituencies. Champions like Jahan Gordon Booth, our state representative, who support and believe in our work, our mission, and our vision. People like her are the drivers of safety, who's very instrumental in assisting with getting resources to help the communities that are most harmed and the least served. We go through the campaigns. That's dealing with like working in an organized and active way toward achieving our goals. And with the constituencies, forming a body of supporters. We are the change agents.
Yes. We are definitely the change agents. And with that being said, I want to share a few of my safety solutions as well. Again, I'm going back to educate. I'm big on educating yourself. I'm very, very big on educating yourself. We have to educate ourselves, our family members, and all of those that are in our networking circles. We have to educate those people, because if they're not properly educated on the things that need to be done, just speaking on the COVID situation right now, if my children don't know the proper way to take care of themselves, they can go out in the community or wherever they may go, and they can bring it back home to the family members. Or if I'm not educating myself, I can bring it back home to my family members. And these are things that we must, and I'm gonna say this again, we must take serious. Now, these are a few things that I always talk about, and many of you hear about it, but I'm going to repeat them anyway. You have to wear your mask. You have to wear your mask. Think about it, you guys that's out there viewing, you also, Terry. Think about when we ride down the street, or when we go in certain places, or wherever we might go, we see people still not wearing their mask. And I'm quite sure that they have heard, or they know someone that may have passed away from the COVID, and they're still not taking it serious. Our young people, for the most part, are still not taking it serious. We have to educate them. Now, we understand that everyone's not going to listen, but this is our job, is to provide them with the information. That's our job, is to provide them with the information. What they do with the information, that's up to them. Now, also, the second thing is sanitizing. We have to sanitize properly. We have to sanitize over and over and over again. If you have to sanitize 100 times a day, then that's exactly what you have to do in order for you to stay safe. This is the new norm for right now. You know, I don't know when it's going to change. Hopefully it will change. But right now, this is what we must do. We have to continue to sanitize. So that's very important. And the next one is to realize how important social distancing is. I don't care who it is. It could be your best friend, your sister, your mother, who it could be, your family members. We have to understand, if we are not sure about the status of these people that we may come in contact with, we have to remain in that social distancing area. And it's sad that we have to live like this way right now, but that's just it. That's where we're at, and that's what we're going to have to do for now until we get past this. We have to heal through this and move forward. And we also have to take vitamins and other supplements to boost our immune system. This is very important. Many of us may not have ever taken vitamins in their lives, but I urge you right now to, get with your doctor, or go to a healthcare store, wherever it may be, and find you some good vitamins and other supplements that will help boost your immune system. Those are a few things that I have, Terry. And as we begin to wrap it up, man, I want to ask you if you have a few words that you might want to say to the viewers out there.
Just briefly, I'd just like to go back and kind of expound on the piece about the shared safety, dealing with like our community, city and civic leaders. They have to get serious about the things that we're doing in and around our cities if they're trying to make a difference in the community. I can speak to what's going on in and around Peoria based on my experiences, being a victim of violence, losing a brother, having a son get shot, a daughter gets shot, other relatives that are deceased. And knowing and understand, even 20, 30 years ago, my brother was shot and killed, how the information wasn't out there for crime survivors to getting resources or to tap into different organizations or entities to even provide some type of help or assistance to help one navigate through such a traumatic experience. Even 30 years ago, up until today, even in the city of Peoria, there is no preventive action or measures putting into place, dealing with things on the front end, dealing with proactive measures. City government, there's laws in Illinois where they say how law enforcement, even the first responders go to the hospitals, a gunshot victim, a victim of violence. How I know domestic, they do something for those, but gunshot victims, they don't. They don't give you the avenues or resources to even tap into to go look for help. Thank God for the trauma recovery centers that have been very helpful in our area, and it's been very resourceful. They got just a one-stop shop at our wraparound center here in Peoria, Illinois. Illinois, here in Peoria, we were one of the first to launch a chapter for crime, survival, safety, and justice. But just to know that that they don't provide us with the necessary information, that's where we step up to the plate, because I'm learning. What I'm learning, I share with my community, and that's how we get answers. That's how we find relief, through healing through action.
Yes, that's right. Healing through action. And as we begin to wrap up, I want to send a shout out because Harrisburg, Pennsylvania has received much support from our mayor. We have received much support from Commissioner of the Chief of Police, Carter. We have received much support from Representative Patty Kim. Crime Survivors, Safety, and Justice have received much support from Commissioner George Hartwick. We would like to thank these individuals for standing up and standing with us in times of need to help us get our message out there. And I know that as we continue to call on them, that they will be there to help us spread this message and do the things that we need to be done. Because like you said, Terry, we need to build that network of constituents that will help us empower and push forth our agenda for crime survivors, for safety and justice, because we need these trauma centers all across the nation. So we're reaching out. And if there's any other officials that's listening, crime survivors for safety and justice, we need you to stand with us as we continue to push forward with this work, because what we're going through now, this is an uncertain time, and we need you guys to stand with us more than ever before. So remember that in order for you to heal and move forward on your journey to healing, you must embrace each of your challenges.
Yes.
Throughout life, there will always be situations that will try to discourage you and hold you back. By using the tools that Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice provides, nothing will be able to prevent you from reaching your desired destination. Remember that words unspoken to self by self are only heard in silence, and each of us heals through action. So we ask each of you, as we, sign off, that as, voting time is approaching vastly, that you register. If you haven't registered to vote, to come out, to get out and register to vote, so that we could change a lot of these policies and put the people in place that's going to help us do the things that need to be done. So as I sign off, Terry, I love you, man. I love all of you, my family members from Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice, Alliance for Safety and Justice. And all we ask you guys to do is to heal the vote. Thank you.
A blessing. Appreciate you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.